Hello, and welcome to your new moon in Aries solar eclipse workbook journey. I'm super excited to dive into this month's new moon energy, and I'm just laughing my head off because I just got to the studio. I have none of the equipment that I needed to record this. I also took my tarot cards home so I could cleanse them because I didn't have time to cleanse them in the studio. So I left my tarot cards at home. And even though I've got lots of tarot cards and tarot decks I could open up here, I was like, this is complete like Aries energy. It's like, go for it. Just do what you need to do. Don't let shit hold you back. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do what I can with the tools that I have. I do have one of the tarot decks that I have here at the studio. This pretty much stays at the studio. I've never really taken this one home with me. And I didn't need to cleanse it just because, it doesn't get used too often in readings. Most people don't pick this deck. I do love this deck. This is the what is it called? The Everyday Witches deck. But what I'm also going to do is use the pick a card from Chris Ann's Light Seers Tarot website. So if you're ever wondering, like, how do I do that? You just open up that page and then you just pick a card and see what comes up for you. So I'm really excited to talk about this Aries new moon solar eclipse. So this solar eclipse is syncing up with the new moon in Aries on March 29th. This is going to be like a cosmic reset button. This is all about revelations, release, and getting clear on your path. This eclipse can bring up some of those hidden patterns, maybe illuminating them and making you rethink your past choices and your future moves. So don't be surprised if you have been rethinking your path and wondering, like, am I on the right path? If you've been getting roadblocked and you're like, this thing that I want to work is not effing working. I think that when the universe gifts us these times where our paths are blocked, or times when we feel like no matter what we try, it is not working, I think that's a gift from the universe saying, hey, you got to kind of check back in with yourself and see what it is that you truly want at your soul's core. This is a chance to tap into your inner warrior and also to your inner resiliency too. I think warriors are resilient, right? Breaking free from self-imposed limitations, diving headfirst into new beginnings. And then we also have the retrograde vibes from Mercury and Venus. Plus, there's a Neptunian shift into Aries. That's all of that is amplifying this transformation. You might feel a bit raw. I know I do. A little fed up with the same old, same old. I don't know that I feel fed up with the same old, same old. I just kind of like have a feeling like of wanting to move forward, and then have a feeling of like not wanting to move forward at the same time. So there's a push pull. But I know I'm not the only one that's feeling that. The reason that I'm mentioning this is because there are a lot of clients who are also feeling this kind of stagnant energy, raw energy, wanting to move forward but not sure of what to do and a little fed up of what's happening. This is good. It means that you're ready to face vulnerabilities and ditch stagnant energy. So trust that this is leading you into deep healing, into soul connection. Trust that this is leading you into your soul's desire. So this new moon energy also is going to give you opportunity to manifest from your soul's core. So directing your energy towards manifesting dreams that resonate with your deepest soul desires. And this is all going to be within your Aries house theme. So wherever Aries lands in your chart. So I highly recommend for this new moon, this solar eclipse, to really look at all three places, all the places that Aries lands in your chart. So using the sun, using the moon, and then using your rising or ascendant to see where Aries lands in your chart. I think that's going to be really helpful to kind of determine those themes for yourself. Setting intentions, rooting in your soul's wisdom, planting seeds for growth over the next 6 months. Every new moon, we get this opportunity from the universe, a gift from God that allows us to plant seeds that we could see like kind of some harvesting or some growth within the next 6 months. So whenever this full moon comes about for the Aries full moon, then that's when you should start seeing some of these kind of inklings or growths, or maybe even closure of any intentions that you've set today or for the next few days. So this is also a really good time to bring structure into your intuitive visions. So basically, like, how can you stabilize the synergy between your soul desire and your manifested reality? So we have our soul's desire, right? And then we have the reality that's in front of us. Not always does our soul's desire align with the manifested reality that we see in front of us. And so how can you create that synergy between the two? How can you see the connections between what your soul is asking of you, what you truly want in your soul's core versus what you actually have now? And how can you see that as a manifestation of what at some point you may have wanted? So, but you may just be ready for something new, right? Speaking of which, this is also a really good time for fierce new beginnings. So embracing the Aries proactive energy and pursuing passions that ignite your soul's fire. You might hear me say that a lot in today's journey, just because not only is Aries a fire sign, but it's very, very highly connected to the soul. It is the first house in the zodiac. So it's the one that begins like the kind of that soul's journey, right? But also looking to the future with brand new, positive, and hopeful vision guided by your soul's compass and the eclipse's transformation energy. And I'm saying soul's compass, and I'm looking at the enchanted map oracle deck that's here. And I might just use this. I'm grabbing it now, so I'm gonna use it. I guess I'm doing 3 readings today. I had only planned on doing 2, but now I'm doing 3 because I said soul's compass, and then I was directed towards the enchanted map. So I love that. Okay, so this is also a really good time for clarifying your soul's overarching goals, understanding how they align with the potent energies of this new moon. What are your overarching goals? How do they align with the energy of this new moon? So we always have, I like to think of like, we have like our day-to-day stuff, right? Or the day-to-day things that we need to do to get us to a place of functioning. We have day-to-day stuff that we can do to get us in a place of moving forward, right? Forward momentum. And then we have these day-to-day functions that we can do to move us towards thriving and towards our soul's desire. And I believe that our soul's desire is in a state of thriving. So think about that overarching goal. And if you don't know what your overarching goal is, what you don't know what your soul's desires or your core desired feelings are, go back into the core desired feelings workshop, the Soul Shift workshop, and there is a module or a section for core desired feelings. Highly recommend looking at that, especially around this time. I will link to that within the lesson, but also within the email, because I think it's so important that we go back and we look at those soul desires and kind of realign with them. Is this really how I want to feel every day? And is this really what I truly want now, even after all of the shifts and changes that have happened in my life? Like, what I want now, what I still want, and what are my overarching goals, and how do those align with the energy of this new moon? Because the energy of this new moon is like about finding your inner warrior. It's about diving headfirst into beginnings. It's about shaking off that old energy, right? And it's about getting crystal clear on your path. So how can you make that connection between what you truly want overall and what you now have? This is a really good time for soul-driven warrior transformation, examining any inner battles that are hindering your soul's journey and releasing what's at war in your mind. So kind of like I said earlier, like I kind of have this push-pull of like, I'm like ready to release some of this energy that I've been kind of holding on to, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't have the ambition or the drive to do it. And then I'm presented with this question from the universe when I get here to the studio. It's like you had planned on recording today's workbook journey. You had planned on using these specific cards. This was your plan, but now you're presented with a question. You don't have those tools. You don't have the tools that you normally use for recording. What will you do? Will you still choose this path? Like, is this something you still want to do? Or will you, say, I'll do it tomorrow, or wait till, the time is right. The time will never be right for anything. Like, we're never ready truly for the things that we want or the things that we feel like we need to do. Like, I don't think that there's ever truly a time where we are ready for upheaval, where we're ready for transformation. It's just like, it needs to happen. Sometimes it does need to happen. Sometimes we know we're ready, and so we're ready to move forward, but all the pieces don't fit together. Sometimes we don't feel like we're ready, but the universe gifts us with these opportunities. It says, yes, you are ready. Yes, you can. And so that is also a soul-driven warrior frame of mind, I believe, because you can shift your behaviors, right? You can shift the behaviors and beliefs that limit your soul's potential and embrace patterns that honor your true self. Honoring your true self. I know I talk about honoring a lot, but what does that truly mean to you? What does it mean to honor your true self? Maybe that in itself could be a journal prompt that I did not make, but maybe you could add that on. Like, what does it truly mean to honor myself? Like, what does that mean? And as I'm saying that, I'm like thinking of a lot of things that clients have talked about when they're like, oh, I really want to do this for myself. And it is truly an honoring of self when you take these actions and steps, right? This is a time to step into a thriving state where your soul's warrior spirit leads the way, releasing survivor mentality to move into a thriving state. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I feel like it's kind of leading up to this culmination of like, sometimes we are so stuck in functioning that we, forget that we could actually thrive. Sometimes we're just not even functioning. And so we're just surviving, right? But this energy is really asking you to move into the state of thriving, to move into the state of having a clear idea of where you want to be headed, having clarity on your map to get yourself there. Remembering that success doesn't always happen overnight. Remembering that it takes action to create the future that you desire. Remembering that it is the freedom that comes from honoring yourself, the freedom that comes from a tiny bit of action. Maybe the action is taking a step or deciding or getting clear on what you truly want. But yeah, this new moon is full of that energy. So how will this new moon specifically affect you? Again, I would really encourage you to look at where Aries lands in your houses. So let's just say you were born under the Aries sign. So your sun sign is Aries. That means Aries would land in your first house, the I am house, right? This is your house of your ego, how you present yourself. This is your house of self, of individuality, of confidence, right? This is your house of how you present yourself in the world, right? This is how you would express yourself and how you kind of like want others to see you. So if Aries was your sun sign, you could look at that as your core self, how you see yourself, and the new things that you'd want to invite into your life regarding your appearance, regarding your personality, regarding your sense of self, right? If, let's say, you were looking through your rising sign, and let's say your rising sign, you were a Gemini rising, that would place Gemini in your first house, then that would mean that Aries for you would be in your 11th house, which is your house of aspirations, your house of friends and groups and your goals. That would be your house of how you find harmony and how you contribute to society. Your house of friendships and your house of your hopes and your wishes, right? And so if, let's say, Gemini was your rising sign and you were looking at this in your Aries house, you'd want to look at your first house and then your 11th house. But if you were looking this at as your moon sign, and let's say Taurus was your moon, then Aries would be in your 12th house. So that would be your house of solitude, your house of dreams, your house of transcendence and self-sabotage. So if you were a Gemini rising with an Aries sun and a Taurus moon, then the houses that you would want to look at is Aries, the first house, Aries in the 11th house, and Aries in the 12th house. So kind of looking at all three of those houses and seeing how this solar eclipse new moon affects you. So what is it in your life that, is being brought to light about how you may sabotage yourself? What is it about your life that is being brought up about friends, goals, aspirations, or your appearance and how you want to present yourself to the world, right? The actions that you take. So looking at it from all of the places where Aries lands in your chart. If you're not sure where that is, you can always send me your chart. Feel free to send me your chart. I'm happy to look. I love looking at that. And if you've ever been to a new moon or full moon workshop here at the studio, you'll know that that's what we'll do. We'll go through the houses and we'll be like, okay, this is where yours lands here. This means you might be going through some of this stuff. And it's so funny because typically that is what's happening. Someone's having some stuff in the work, if it's the sixth house or whatever, or someone's having stuff happen in their marriage if it's their seventh house. So really look at where this lands in all of your houses, in each part of your chart, and see what kind of changes you want to make, what kind of intentions you want to set, so that you can move forward and plant those goals and see which ones call to your heart the most. I think that that's a beautiful way to do this new moon manifestation, new moon kind of overhaul. So as usual, I do have tarot spreads, and I'm going to do 3 tarot spreads this time. I'm going to do the new moon warrior spirit spread. This is a spread that I created last year in 2024, I believe, or was it 23? I think it was 2024. I love this spread. I decided to go ahead and dust it off and bring it back because I thought it was a good one. And with this one, because of what I was presented with when I got here to the studio, I'm going to use the Light Seers Tarot deck just because that is inner warrior thing, being resilient, using the resources that you have. So there are 4 questions in this spread. Question 1 is, how can you work with your warrior spirit? Question 2 is, what areas of your life are going through a revitalization? Question 3 is, what will help you have faith in the new adventures that await you? And where might you need to instill caution? Really like this spread. All right, spread number 2 is a new cycle clarity spread. So this is also a 4-card spread. What new cycle is beginning in your life during this eclipse? What overarching goals align with your soul's journey? How can you move forward with clarity and fresh energy? What old habits need to be discarded to make room for the new cycle? I really like that one. And then the aligned action spread. This is a 5-card spread. What proactive steps can be taken to pursue your passions? How can you align your actions with your soul's truth? What guidance will help keep you flowing towards your goals? What is the most aligned action you can take in the next 72 hours? And what energy do you need to embody to move forward? Now, next 72 hours, because the energy of the eclipse lasts about 72 hours, but also the energy of the new moon and full moons last 3 days before and 3 days after. But because there's a solar eclipse, I would say the most potent time for this energy is 3 days within the solar eclipse new moon. What is the most aligned action you can take in the next 72 hours? So I think I'm going to start, I'm going to do all 3. So I think I'm going to start with the warrior spread. And as I said before, you might hear some clicking around because I'm going to be using the Light Seers Tarot pick a card spread. So card 1, I like this because it's just the pick a card is just kind of having different cards rotate across the screen in front of me. So how can you work with your warrior spirit? Let's see, I picked the 5 of Swords. Interesting. So not wallowing in the losses, not letting what other people have done in the past influence your current future or your current, your present self and your future self. Not letting any mistakes in quotation marks that you may have made influence your life now and your future. So not allowing the losses to take you down, not wallowing in any losses, whether someone did that to you, whether you did it to yourself, whether it happened, whether it was a quote unquote mistake, whether someone, it's interesting. I was going to say something, but then I heard whether someone lost their life or not. Maybe that's just my personal thing that's happening in my own realm, but maybe that's applicable to someone else. Whether you lost something or not, whether something was taken from you, whether you took something, whether you did something that wasn't so favorable or wasn't the best choice at the time. You did the best that you could with the information that you had. So your life lessons move you ahead always. That's the affirmation for that here. This is working with your warrior spirit is going to mean working with the conflict, working with losing the challenge, working with the unfair advantage, working with experiencing the loss. It's an opportunity to build your skills and your confidence, right? It may have been unfair, you may have had to overcome adversity, but here you are. So even through the loss, your integrity is still there. You did your best, you still have the higher ground, and so you know you'll recover. And again, it's the losses that will teach us, will be our teachers to move us ahead. So that's how to work with your warrior spirit. And so I don't know a lot about war, but I know sometimes you don't win all the battles, right? And I mean, I guess you don't win all the battles in war, right? And sometimes we do have these roadblocks, kind of like I was talking about before. Sometimes we do get roadblocks, and sometimes it feels like we're not moving forward. But just because we lose a battle doesn't mean that the war has been lost. So I feel like another lesson in this card is to assess your losses, assess where you may have had to let go of something, and then use that as a lesson to move you forward. Okay, card 2. What areas of your life are going through a revitalization? I'm going back down to the pick a card, and I've got Queen of Wands. I love this. I love this Queen of Wands energy. So this is the area of your life that's going through a revitalization. It is your passion. It is your desires. It is filling your world with light. This is all about diving back into your passions. This is about expressing yourself. This is about spontaneity. This is about bravely pursuing your dreams. This is about impulsivity. This is about adventure and having confidence, helping others as you build your queendom, power, intensity, and love. That's what this energy is. That's what area of your life is going through revitalization. It's like looking at yourself again, looking at the things that you lost. If we're taking that 5 of Swords energy, taking the losses from the 5 of Swords, and then using that to fuel your dreams, to fuel your passion, to fuel how you boldly express yourself, to have confidence, knowing that maybe you lost those things because they weren't the right things for you, and it's time to move forward with creativity, with passion. It's time to move forward with warmth. It's time to confidently determine where you want to go and boldly be expressive about what you want to say. And sharing your stories with others helps others step into their role of leadership too. I had this beautiful restorative yoga session on Saturday. I had a couple of clients come in. Neither one knew each other. I felt called. If you've ever had a restorative yoga session, you know that this doesn't normally happen, but I felt called to share oracle cards. And it was really beautiful because the cards, as always, that they chose were cards that they needed to choose to get messages that really help to empower them, really help them move forward, and really help give them encouragement on their path. So what came of that was sharing of stories of where both of these women were at in their journey. And I think it's such a beautiful thing when someone shares a story of grief and someone else can share their story of grief and someone else can share their story of grief, not so that we can wallow in it, but because we can take the lessons from the grief and move forward. There's a saying I heard the other day, and it's something along the lines of, someone gave me a box of darkness, and it wasn't until afterwards that I realized this too was a gift. So the darkness can be a gift, but not because we're wallowing in the grief, but because we're using the lessons that we learned from the grief to move us forward. We're using the lessons of encouragement that we receive to move us forward. And that's what the Queens of Wands energy is asking you to do, to revitalize, use the lessons from the past to help move you forward, to help build that self confidence, to help you be passionate and not be afraid to take a risk, to move beyond hesitation, right? To be honest with yourself, brutally honest with yourself, because the Queen of Wands is truly honest, and she not quite as cutting as the Queen of Swords, but the Queen of Wands has a warmth to her honesty, and she surrounds herself with her dreams and memories and creative energy, right? She understands the power of deep connection, and she may have an explosive anger, but she's has this long-term happiness with warmth and a sacred flame that burns brightly and lovingly and powerfully, right? She chooses to nurture her love and her passion over her fear and her anger. She is a powerfully inspirational character who boldly shares her enthusiasm and warmth. So that is the area of your life that's going through revitalization, where you're choosing nurture over fear, where you're choosing love over anger, where you're choosing diving into your passionate desires, right? So those are the parts of your life that are going to through a revitalization. Questions to ask yourself are: what parts of your desires, or what part of you desires to be seen? What part of you wants to lead? Where do you want to feel powerful in your life? Where and when? When do you want to feel powerful too, right? And also, illuminating the shadow within you will help you guide others to illuminate their shadow inside of them too. So know that when you heal, that others heal just even by proximity, that others heal just by being around you, right? Okay, so what will help you have faith in the new adventures that await you? Clickety click, click, click. Here we go. Let's see what comes up. And the internet has brought us the Fool. Oh, I love that. What will help you have faith in new adventures that await you? So anytime I get the Fool card, especially this particular Fool card from the Lightseers Tarot deck, I always think of taking one step forward and the universe taking 50 in your stead, and just having a magnet of energy waiting there to find to lift you up and to hold you up and to help you find your way. This card also reminds me of the energy that I had when I quit my job of 14 years, not knowing what was going to be ahead of me, not knowing I would actually open up the studio. Like, I knew I would have Breathe, Connect, Thrive. I just thought it would all be online, but not knowing I would have a brick and mortar. And so the universe is like kind of there to catch you. So what will help you have faith in the new adventures that await you is awakening your soul path and being ready for adventure. I think that that's so fun. So what will help you have faith is the potential of bringing new dreams to life. What will help you have faith is to have faith. Sometimes the answer is within the question. What will help me have faith? Well, have faith in the new adventures that await you. Have faith in the new adventures that are coming your way. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We really don't. We don't know what will happen in the next 22 seconds. We just know that something will happen. So having faith that something will happen, knowing that this is a transitional period, and being lighthearted and spontaneous, or diving into spontaneity, right? This is not assuming that you have the answer. This is not being too impulsive, but, kind of seeing what's there, and, look, just like looking a little bit before you jump, but still take the leap. Being on the edge of an epic journey is what Chris Ann has to say. Seeing opportunities, and then knowing that your dream begins with a single step, right? Maybe not being sure about where you're headed, but having clarity that you need to begin. I was helping another client do something, and we were talking about starting messy anyways. And so her words were, if she could do something to help propel her forward, she would start messy anyways. And I thought that was a beautiful thing for her to say, because it's like, I may not have all the answers, but I'm going to start anyways. I know where I'm headed. So part of this, I think, is also knowing where you're headed. Like, knowing that overarching goal, knowing that overarching theme of your soul. Like, what is that? And then, like, taking one step because you don't know what will happen after that. And trusting that the universe will catch you, trusting that it will be okay. Um, Questions that Chris Ann has for you is, if you knew the universe would catch you mid-flight, where would you leap? What one thing could you learn today that would help you prepare for tomorrow? And how much do you trust yourself to try new things and to succeed? Um, I also would add another question in here for you, and that might be, even if you knew you wouldn't win, what would you try? Because sometimes it's not that we'll succeed, it's that we have to try regardless of the outcome. We have to try even if we know we'll lose. That that is a powerful, powerful desire there. Because knowing you could lose, but still knowing you could fail, knowing that things could go really, really wrong, but still knowing deep down in your heart and soul that this is what you need to do because you can't not do it, then that is a powerful soul's desire. Some might even say foolish, as we see with the Fool card. So, where might you need to instill caution? I love that that question came after the Fool, because the Fool doesn't instill caution. She's just gonna go for it, right? If we're looking at the negative or the shadow side of that card, right? So where might you need to instill caution? And let's pick a card. Clickety click, click, click. Ooh, the Two of Wands. Interesting. So leaving the past behind to move forward, but really looking at your past. I feel like this is a mirroring kind of full circle back to that Five of Swords. Not wallowing in the losses, but looking at what you lost, looking at where your path may have been diverged, where you might have had to end a path to move forward, and choosing to move forward, but choosing to move forward with caution, right? The Two of Wands says this world is full of opportunities for adventure, right? The Two of Wands is planning your future, right? So you might need to instill caution when it comes to planning your future, making progress, right? The choice between your comfort zone and new adventures and leaving home, right? The choice between your comfort zone and new adventures. That's where you might need to instill caution, right? Where are you comfortable at now? Kind of like what we were talking about before, that same old, like where is that energy stuck? And what new adventures await you if you can let go of that? But allowing yourself to instill some caution, to not be so insecure about the future and not be so afraid of taking the next step and not feeling stuck in your past or feeling worried about your abilities, but really looking at where you may have either taken a wrong turn, where you may have, and I said that in quotation marks, where you may have made some mistakes, again, quotation marks, where you may have diverged from a path, or maybe stuck to a path, or been stuck in a place where you didn't necessarily want to be for that long. And how can you use that to inform your decisions moving forward? You know, we always have the choice of staying or going, of letting things be the same. And sometimes that is the choice that we need. Sometimes we need to stay where we are because we don't know yet where we want to go. But if you do have a choice to move forward and you do think that, you know, you might not be comfortable in that place for the rest of your life, then you know at some point you have to move. So maybe instilling some caution in the past and learning from the mistakes, right? Taking the lessons of the Five of Swords and learning. And then once you have that inspired action, that's when you move forward, because when you dream it, you can envision it. And when you envision it, you can start to take small steps to live it, to explore your options, and to discover what is available for you. And then to make the steps to make that happen, to plan. And that's maybe also where you need to instill some caution, to plan your next steps, to plan and learn from the lessons from before, right? And that will help you dive into your warrior spirit spread. Oh, I love that spread. Okay, so new cycle clarity spread. We are moving on to the second one, and this one I'm going to use this Everyday Witch Tarot, which is the Everyday Witch Tarot that was here. So what new cycle is beginning for you in your life during this eclipse. Let's see. New cycle that is beginning for you in your life during this eclipse. Okay. Oh, we got the Hermit. Interesting. All right. So times for introspection, time for feeling into your spirit of self, time for feeling into what you truly want, time to look at that light inside of you to see what is available for you. Sometimes when we are trying to manifest, we so often look outside of ourselves, right? But the hermit asks us to look at the light within. The hermit asks us to witness our beautiful heart, right? The hermit is inner reflection, contemplation, soul searching, right? It's this wisdom inside of you. It's finding the guide within. It's being your own guru, right? It's taking time out and not so much isolating yourself, but finding the answers within yourself. The new cycle that's beginning inside of you is allowing the light within you to guide you, right? To to let the darkness also guide you as well. I feel like this is also time for integration, a deeper sense of integration, a deeper sense of fulfillment, by finding the answers within yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't, talk to other people. This doesn't mean that you're all by yourself. It means that you find a clear path, and because you find that clear path, you get to shine that light for everybody else. This is your ability to move ahead in the darkness, allowing your heart to guide you. This is your time. This new cycle that's beginning for you is allowing yourself to process and heal, knowing that at some point you'll go back to feeling like your old self again, or feeling like a new version of yourself, and a more stronger version of yourself. This is a talking to soul kind of thing. This is kind of like asking your soul what it needs in this moment to heal, right? Um, this is giving yourself permission to take time out, right? This is putting yourself first, right? And because this card is peeking out, this is card number 2. What overarching goals will align with your soul's journey? You got the Six of Cups. I love this card for so many reasons. This card is a card of nostalgia, right? This card is a card of really listening to your inner child, remembering what you maybe wanted in the 3rd grade and how you can give yourself some of those things. And I know for some of us, our inner child life wasn't that happy. I know for some of us, it was the happiest time in our lives. It was the only time we felt free, right? The time before responsibility started happening for some of us. And this really listening to your inner child. And if you didn't have a good childhood, it doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot nurture your inner child. You can definitely nurture your inner child. That's all that work is about, is definitely nurturing that part within you. And really looking at the past and seeing what the past energy has to do with this energy. I was reading something about the energy of this new moon, and about how this is kind of like a synodic cycle from, I want to say, 2006 or 2003. And this synodic cycle is kind of like repeating the past. There's some Chiron wounds in there as well. I'm not 100% well versed in astrology, so I can't tell you exactly what that means. But what I picked up on, and why I feel like this is relevant is because when we're looking at our past, we can really learn and glean some information to help inform our future. And the Six of Cups is about being at peace with your past. Knowing that your past has brought you where you are now, and using your past, using your inner child for future self, for future harmony, for future themes in your life, right? And so this Six of Cups is giving some love to your inner child, giving some love to your younger self. When on some level you may have had some things be simpler on some level, right? And it's also a chance to look at these repeating patterns to help you see how much how far you've come in your life, right? This is energy about grounding yourself in the present, but using your past to inform your choices and using the future to be a guide to tether you. And so the overarching goals that align with your soul's journey are looking at that simplicity, but also looking at the past to, again, inform your current self. And letting yourself be guided into harmony by really loving yourself and caring for yourself, right? How can you move forward with clarity and fresh energy? Another card that's sticking up is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is a fast moving, action oriented card. The Knight of Swords in this deck is super young, right? So it's using that innocent, young energy. You look like a teenager, or yeah, like a little teenager, like a maybe 17, 18-year-old boy here. This Knight of Swords is someone who is inquisitive and fast and really is taking the energy so he can swiftly move forward. He's fighting all these birds here. He's like, oh, we're going to go onward, right? He's running towards success. He's a superhero, right? He's determined and passionate and intelligent, right? And so you can take the energy of being determined, of being passionate, of having energy, of being impetuous, um, maybe being a little impatient, and just really taking the time to not take time by moving fast. So this is definitely fast moving action, right? This is making a decision. This is, yeah, it's just moving forward, and it takes willpower to do that. So how can you move forward with clarity and fresh energy? Um, Focusing your energy so it's not scattered, not needing to act too quickly, but still making a decision and taking fast action. So kind of listening to your gut as well, right? What old habits need to be discarded to make room for a new cycle? Well, I think once you, because I'm looking at these cards kind of laid out in front of me, once you tap into your inner resolve, to your inner hermit, once you look back at the past, then you'll have this sense of wanting to move forward and quick and being presented with all these opportunities now that I'm looking at these cards. So, what old habits need to be discarded to make room for the new cycle? We got Page of Cups. Lots of young little energy here towards the end of the card. So the Six of Cups kind of started like giving back to your inner child, right? The overarching goals that align with your soul's journey, really looking at the past to inform your future, really looking at the mistakes and the patterns that maybe have happened before so you don't repeat them. And then you have this quick moving energy. But then the Page of Cups, it allows you to really tap into your heart and really listen to your heart. The Page of Cups also brings messages from the heart, right? It brings messages from intuition, it brings messages from your soul. This is being excited to see your next steps, right? This is dreaming, this is creativity, right? But the old habits that need to be discarded is the opposite of that, like missing the signs, like being immature, right? Like not listening to your heart, not listening to your young spirit, not listening to your joy, not following magic, not following synchronicity, because this card, this Page of Cups, is all about synchronicity. It's all about magic. It's all about new, creative. I mean, he's got he's got paint all over him. He's been painting. He or she has been painting them. It's, I don't know. This person has been painting. And they have a cup that's full of paint, and they've discarded their witch's uniform, and they've discarded their broom, and they've got paint all over the floor. They are messy, they're barefoot, they have paint all over their feet, right? And so maybe discarding perfectionism, maybe discarding the need to get it right, in quotation marks. I'm doing a lot of quotation marks today, right? Maybe discarding the idea that everything can happen. So, like, kind of tapping yourself one foot into reality, one foot into your dreams, knowing that you can have and make magic, and be ready for whatever opportunity is open to you, right? This is also an opportunity to pay attention to serendipity, to fall back in love with magic and synchronicity. Um, and that really will allow you to move forward into this new cycle. Again, looking within yourself with the hermit, right? Letting the light illuminate your path, looking at the past to see what messages you can glean from your past self, and giving your inner child lots of love to help you move forward when the opportunity hits, taking inspired action, and don't need to get it perfect or right. I mean, we have no idea what will happen tomorrow. We have no idea what will happen in 5 years from now. But what we do know is that if we can listen to ourselves in this now moment, we might be able to get somewhere that we never knew could be possible, right? Okay, so the aligned action spread. I was not going to use this deck. I was going to actually stop with these two readings, but because I was being called to this deck, I'm going to use it. It's the Enchanted Map deck by Colette Baron Reed. This is a really nice deck. I really love this, and I like that it's got an upright and reversed, and whichever way the card lands is how I'm going to read it. So the aligned action spread. What proactive steps can you take to pursue your passions? And we got follow the leader. I have to read from this guidebook, but there is a tree with a clock and a path. There are some birds. These are really fanciful. Okay, I'm gonna have to read from that. So basically, I feel like there's a fairy. There are ducks. There's all kinds of stuff in this card. It's beautiful. Okay, so proactive steps you can take to pursue your passions. Man, I'm gonna have to read this because this is like really like I was gonna pull more cards, but it's like no, read it right now. This is upright. So every life has a teaching tool for others. Your authenticity and honesty are an example to those around you. Okay, you're being called to lead others by example. Those are the practice steps you can take. Lead others by example. So what steps can you take to pursue your passion? Just go for it. Lead. This is so much Aries energy. I think it's so funny. Your wisdom has been earned as a result of your bravery, again, Aries energy, in the adventure of your life. The experiences of the battles won and lost. We were talking about battles when we started this to bring it full circle with that Five of Swords. Places discovered, tears shed, and joy revealed have placed you in a unique position to be of service to others. Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Now you must share it. By being fully authentic, you'll lead others into the light. You'll be required to divulge some things about your past, so trust that you may help someone else. Lead with love. There's another message in here as well. Look to those whose great character and accomplishments you admire. Emulate the leaders you respect. Then you will, in turn, have more to offer. Interesting. What proactive steps can you take to pursue your passion? Lead. Share your story. I feel like a lot of the readings from before were kind of like share your story and lead. Don't wallow in the losses, right? So part of this for you is taking that proactive step to just go for it. Just put one step in front of the other, like put one foot in front of the other, right? I love that. Okay, so how can you align your actions with your soul's path? And we are getting a reverse card, Heal the Ouch. Interesting. Okay, so this one is like a fox with a raccoon, and the raccoon is healing the fox. And this is the reversed card. So the little quote says, "Forgiveness is the healer of the soul." Reverse, this card has a message urging you to make amends for any harm you've done to others. Appraise yourself honestly. How have you been selfish, greedy, or inconsiderate of others? Have you harbored resentment towards those who have harmed you in the past? Practice deep and radical forgiveness. In order to be free, to know healing, you must surrender your old hurts and begin anew. Forgiving yourself and loving yourself is important too. Be humble and willing to admit your weakness. Know the imperfections of the human personality. Walk tall as you take the path of the shaman, the wiser elder who is willing to go into the shadows to bring healing light to old wounds. So Aligning your actions with your soul's truth is going to mean being true with yourself, being true and honest with yourself. It's going to mean forgiving yourself. It's going to mean letting go. It's going to mean healing of self and surrendering the old hurt so that you can begin again, right? All right. So sometimes when we're holding on to stuff, we may not realize we're holding on to it subconsciously. So you might even ask yourself, like, is there anything that I'm holding on to that I'm not aware of? And you might even ask the universe or God for some signs and be like, show me in the next 3 days the things that I'm holding on to that I need to release. And you might be getting a lot of BS popping up, and that BS that pops up might be things that you might need to let go of, because sometimes the things that trigger us the most are the things that we most need to heal. So, all right, number 3, card 3, what guidance will keep you flowing towards your goals? Let's see, this is an upright card, and this is into the unknown. Oh, interesting card. Card 7, so she's has a blindfold on. She's got this beautiful gothic dress on with feathers, and she's got her hands in front of her. She cannot see. She's going into the unknown. So I feel like this is for you to go into the unknown as well. It says, trust, ... and all will be revealed. All right, upright. Life is an adventure, and often new opportunities will arise that you won't know how to deal with. This is one of those times you're required to trust that this new phase will reveal wonders and miracles as you step into unknown territory. Imagine that you are not only a pathfinder, but a path maker. Whatever your inquiry, trust that you will be safe. Stay aware as you discover new and marvelous territories and valuable treasures. Ooh, I love this. I love this. So, trusting in the unknown, that's the guidance that's going to help you keep flowing towards your goals. I mean, sometimes we just have to go. I feel like this is also recalling that full card of like jump and then the universe will catch you. But you've got to kind of instill a little bit of caution. You got to kind of heal some stuff. This is the only way that you can lead. Like, you're going to lead by dusting off those shadows. You're going to lead by healing the ouch, by forgiving yourself, by letting go of those past hurts, and then that'll catapult you into the unknown. What is the most aligned action you can take within the next 72 hours? I really like that card. So we are being guided to Sacred Pool. Interesting. So this is a beautiful, I mean, she's got really, I don't know who did the artwork on this, but it's amazing. Okay, so what is the most aligned energy action you can take in the next 72 hours? This is 47. And this is Sacred Pool. The world is a reflection of your thoughts, feelings, and belief. Embody the love you wish to see in the world. I feel like that is pretty self-explanatory. So in the next 72 hours after hearing this or listening or doing this, after going through this journey, that is what you need to do. Embody the love you wish to see in this world. So when you look in the mirror, what do you see? This card asks you to focus on self-love and self-esteem. Reflect by the sacred pool and be at peace with yourself. A detached self-examination made with rigorous honesty, again, honesty, is called for now. Can you see how far you've come and how magical your life is? Do you notice the spark of the divine shining through your eyes? Oh, I love that. I'm going to ask it again. Do you notice the spark of the divine shining through your eyes? When you're conscious that you're the embodiment of spirit, it becomes easier to act in good conscience. Then you'll reap the greatest rewards. Your unique service to the world is not only needed, but celebrated. See the love within you and know that you can cast it upon waters. It will return to you tenfold. Be at peace, for you are beautiful and loved. Act with surety and confidence, and success shall be yours, whatever your inquiry. I love this because this is kind of like a direct answer to this. What is the most aligned action you can take in the next 72 hours? It gave you a lot of clear directives here. It said, embody the love you want to see in the world. It said, act with surety and confidence, and success shall be yours, whatever your question, whatever your inquiry, right? Your unique service to the world is not only needed, but celebrated. See the love within you and know that you cast it upon, that when you cast it upon your waters, it will be returned tenfold. Be at peace, for you're beautiful and loved. So those are all the things you need to do. That's the most aligned action you can take. Just all the things that was said in this card. Like, and you might even ask yourself, how can I, do these things that, that you're being asked to do? How can I see the love that I wish to see in the world? And sometimes just asking ourselves these questions instead of like affirming, I see the love in the world. Sometimes our mind's like, bullshit, you don't see the love in the world. It's like, show me. How can you show me? Like, how can I be in tune with this? And when you just ask the question, sometimes we get that answer. And I love that. I really do love that. I really do love asking the how question instead of why can't I? Or, what are my next steps? Well, your next step is to do this, right? To really see the world through those eyes, the love that you want to see. Okay, what energy do you need to embody to move forward? We got peaks of joy. I love this 33, and this little girl, and she's jumping in the sky, and she's got her heart open and all the things, and I love the number 33. I feel like it's a special number for me specifically, but also it's a beautiful angel number as well. Your life is filled with happiness, so share it with others. Joy is yours today. No matter what your inquiry, you will be happy with the results. So embodying the energy of happiness and joy, right? You're coming closer to a sense of achievement. You've worked hard for it. You're surrounded by true companions and events that are synchronistically arranged to bring you to the next level of your life. Your world is singing beautiful harmony. Life is exhilarating and hopeful. Let gratitude fill your heart and remember to share your happiness. Joy is contagious. That's the energy you need to embody moving forward. Joy. Because joy is contagious. It'll spill over to other things. And how can you find like little things of joy within your day-to-day life? How can you find like small bits of joy? Like how can you push forward, like using that Aries warrior spirit to kind of keep moving forward, not wallowing in the losses, not allowing the losses to be a determination of what your next steps are. Instead, allowing the losses to inform you, to help you move forward, taking the leap with that energy of the Fool's card, right? Taking that leap, listening to your heart, listening to the internal wisdom of your heart, right? I'm just kind of taking all the energy of the cards, just kind of bringing it into this theme in case you're listening to this and you're like, none of these cards were in this reading, but they weren't. But it's a culmination of the energy that has happened from before. This is your message from Spirit. They're asking you to really dive deep within your soul, to really listen to your soul, to really connect with your soul, to really honor yourself. If you've gone away from honoring yourself, if you've taken steps away from that, how can you come back to self? How can you come back to these practices that'll bring you into this state of joy, pure joy, just as the card said? And as always, there are journaling prompts for you within the New Moon Workbook. So I love these questions. There are 12 questions here, and then you can go through them. I'm going to share one of my favorite questions. Where is it? Because I think it's just amazing. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions here. If my soul could speak directly to me about my desires, what would it say I should be manifesting? I think I'm going to change that from should to could. Because I don't think we should anything ourselves. I think we could or would or want to or get to, but I don't think we should anything ourselves. So if my soul could speak directly to me about my desires, what would it say I could be manifesting? Because we have a choice. You have a choice to manifest. You have a choice not to as well. There are so many really good questions here. I also like this question. What does soul-driven warrior transformation mean to me, and how can I embody it? Because I'm thinking about soul-driven warrior transformation in one way. What does that mean to you? And so as always, feel free to let me know how these readings resonated for you. If anything in the workbook sparked your interest, or if there was anything in the journaling prompts that really made you have an aha moment. I really do love hearing from you. And as always, please only take what feels right in your heart and soul and leave the rest behind. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.